Ah, I see myself looking slightly confused, which means that allegedly we're live, so that is good. Hello, everybody. I have learned from experience that if I try and say hello to everybody and try and keep up with the chat, that everything goes kind of horribly wrong. So I will be looking at the chat a bit, but if I miss your message, I'm sorry, there are a lot of messages, so it's all good. Welcome. Is it... I feel like for Americans this is very early. This is a slightly impromptu live stream, which I'm mostly doing because I have a regular one for my patrons, which is next week, but I got my days mixed up and was like, so we're streaming tomorrow, and everyone was like, no, like, we are now, so here we are. Anyway, welcome. If you are here from Patreon, then you need to make sure to click on the YouTube link to come to the YouTube page, which means that you can talk in the live chat if you want to. It's 10 a.m. See, that's completely reasonable. I know that a couple of people are like, it's going to be 7 a.m. on a Saturday, so no thanks, but it's all good. You just had to be right. Basically, yes. Like, well, I said we were streaming, so I guess we're gonna. Any plans on doing a video on throwing knives? No, because, well, first of all, because I've never used throwing knives, and also because they're not really... that they, I guess, could be a film combat kind of thing, but they're not really a stage combat kind of thing for fairly obvious reasons. Like, if you're in a theatre, you don't want to be chucking knives at people. In fact, basically, one of the very few ways to fail a stage combat exam, particularly if you're at, like, the beginner level, is to disarm a weapon towards the audience. So if you do that, that is an automatic fail. So I feel like throwing knives are basically just that, you know. It's 10 a.m., it's 4 p.m., it's 4 p.m., it's 5 p.m., it's 3 p.m. where I am. There we go, that's what time it is here. Anyway, you have my dream job. I have my dream job too. I'm gonna be honest. Daggers video then. Haven't done daggers either. I mean, you can do a stage combat exam in daggers, I think, but usually it's something like rapier and dagger, or knives, which is kind of classed as a different thing. I've never done a knife one, which I would really like to, though, because it seems like it'd be great. Break down the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4 final fight. Yeah, no, I haven't watched any of that. No, everyone's like, well, first of all, I'm always really behind on everything, and so let's see, I finished watching the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian that currently exist. And I was like, yes, look at me. I'm slightly up to date on the things which happen on, you know, the television equivalent. And then everyone's like, no, we're all watching WandaVision now. I'm like, seriously? And then I thought, maybe I should watch that. And now everyone's like, no, don't watch WandaVision. We're all watching the Winter Soldier Falcon thing. So I'm always very behind with TV series because I don't have a lot of time to watch those. Like, a movie is 2.5 hours, but a series is, you know, a more significant time commitment. Anyway. I love The Mandalorian. I loved it too. I mean, I don't think I love it as much as the average person loves it, but it doesn't seem to matter what your opinions are on Star Wars. Like, if you're no, only the original trilogy is valid and everything else is bad. They love The Mandalorian. People who grew up with the prequels love The Mandalorian. People who like the sequel trilogy love The Mandalorian. Everybody loves The Mandalorian. It's like, it's weird, but I like it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is amazing. Oh, okay. Oh, just watch The Mighty Ducks. I like it. What do you mean randomly throwing objects isn't reality? To be fair, you can randomly throw objects in some situations. I did a found weapons fight where we were in a gym, and the examiner sat in the middle of the gym, like a school sports hall kind of thing, and we sort of fought all the way around them, and it started with you, like, chucking a fake medicine ball at your partner and then falling off a bench. So, that was pretty good. 12 a.m. Oh dear. I'm sorry. Don't worry, we won't be streaming for very long. So I finished my Case of Rapiers course. If you see my community posts, which I assume most of you do, because otherwise, I mean, I assume you have notifications or something on. Otherwise, how did you get here? I showed you some pictures from that, which Case of Rapiers is possibly my favorite thing I've done so far, because it's extremely complicated, but it looks really good. Have you done any Kobudo? I don't even know how to pronounce that correctly, so no. Just unscrew the pommel. Right. Do you know how to convincingly stab someone with a retractable knife? No, because, like I said, I've never done anything related to knives. Just rapiers. Oh, see, somebody had a question, which was, well, there's always one person who's like, those aren't rapiers. Like, yes, you are correct. So, this is a rapier, and I'm going to try and get, like, the whole thing in, but that might be tricky. So, this is a rapier. They're much longer than the things we use in stage combat. They also have fancy hilts, which is nice. I like a fancy hilt. They're also heavy, relatively speaking. Like this one weighs over 1 kilo, and it's a single-handed weapon. Luckily, it's not like a single-handed cutting weapon when it's that long and weighs over 1 kilo. It's not. Just casually pulled out the rapier. I did bring the rapier over. Normally, it's behind here, but I replaced it with like my Wonder Woman sword temporarily. The thing about rapiers is they're very long and quite, which makes them a bit unwieldy, especially if you're on a small stage, and they're pretty heavy, which means they're very tiring. So if you're an actor, they're also expensive. What you tend to work with if you are not providing your own weapon is probably French grip foil handle épée blade. If you're at a theatre, they might have something with an épée blade and a different kind of handle, but very often épée blade and whatever. Because if you poke someone with an épée blade, it's not, you know, if you like prod someone, if you actually hit a target with it, because you generally only aim for like the body or the foot or whatever, and you never, like, you don't go for the head very often. Or if you do, you make sure that they're going to avoid it by like ducking right under it, and you have to wait for them to start ducking before you go across. Anyway, point is, if you're like, that's Case of Rapiers, but that's not a rapier, like in stage combat you usually don't use an actual rapier. For a whole bunch of reasons. Weight being one, cost being another, availability being, I guess, another probably, but there you go. Ta-da! Right. Okay, I'm catching up. I didn't expect to see you. I see the assassins have failed. I like it. YouTube is actually doing a good job with the notifications. That is excellent. I have had some people turn up like 40 minutes into a 45-minute live stream and be like, so I just got this notification. Hi, how's it going? I have never seen it. They're very nice. See, I understood that reference. 1.1 kilos. So that's about 2 pounds, I think. To be fair, like in the UK, we measure the height of people and the weight of people quite often in imperial, but most other things in, and distance in miles, but most other things in metric. And we do also just do the weight of people in, and the height of people in metric sometimes, but quite often if you are asked someone for your height, they'll give it in imperial. But most other things are now metric. It's a bit of a weird hybrid system, but, you know, where do you get the swords? Aren't they custom made? No, they are not. The rapier came from the Knight Shop. It's one of their kind of stage combat safe ones. The small sword, which sits in the back of my videos, like on the top of my bookshelf with the fairy lights on it, that is from the Tempus Fugitives. They're based out of London. And it's a small sword hilt with An epee blade! Shockingly. Have you tried Syrian swords? No. Have you found out what that jujitsu thingy is? Apparently it's kind of a fancied up sacrifice throw. This seems to be the general consensus, at least. Just with lots of, swinging about. Would you ever collab with Lindy Beige? I would love to. I feel like he's a very busy guy, but he's lovely. So, if you ever have a really good idea for something we could collab on, you should suggest it to me, but also to him, because, that might work. I feel like of the two of us, he's probably... Actually, I don't know who is the busier person, but, it would be really nice to collab with Lindy Beige. Who knows? Could happen. You both do a lot of knife stabby thing content. What else? You shouldn't go in for the head in stage combat with a sword. Yes. Well, yes and no. So basically, there's a move. Let me see. There's a move that we did in the case of rapiers where it's a... your partner lunges and you parry, you double parry, and you cross both blades over the top. Your swords are now kind of entangled. You've got the swords, and so they're kind of entangled, and then you loop it up and you sort of spin around. I'll see if I can find the clip. And then, when you've done that, you're having crossed over with your left sword on the top, you spin it around, and your left sword is still on the top, and so you can take it off, and you look at your partner, and then, when he ducks, you swish it over his head. But, you don't just, swing at people randomly. That's considered very bad form. Especially when you're beginning, you prep, they start to move backwards, you do a thing. Because that is safe, as opposed to you go for them and then they have to react to it, which is what happens in real life. Okay. Case rapiers. Right. I'm gonna drop the link in here. And where is it? So what you're looking for that bit is Sorry, I'm now watching it, so let's... about 45 seconds in. There we go. 45. There we go. So if you do that's... You can... Hopefully, you can see the prep. You can see me turn and look at him, and then take the sword up, and then ducking and stuff. Random question, have you ever seen Hamilton? I have not. Have you ever done anything with the SCA? No, but I have heard of them. Metric numbers are uncomfortable to divide. Why? A Lindy Hop dance collab. Okay, that does sound like fun. Fellow female sword enthusiast. Awesome. I feel like there should be more of us. One of the things I like about stage combat is that it's relatively even in terms of men and women because, acting. So it's, I don't know, are there more women who are actors than men? Because I feel like there are, and yet there are more, especially when you get up to the sort of things where they're paying you, there are more roles for men. But I could be wrong about that. Still, I do feel like there are more women, but it seems to even out in stage combat, so you get roughly equal numbers of men and women, and it's nice. Just saw this in my subscriptions. Welcome. So 1.1 kilos is about 2.4 pounds. There you go. How are your cats at stage fighting? Terrible, they only do the real kind. Oh, we're almost back to the bottom. Whoa. Thank you for the super cat. Super cat? Oh dear, I've got cats on the brain now. Thank you for the super chat. There we go. What is the worst fight scene you've ever seen? I think the one that caused me the most physical pain was the one from Bulletproof Monk, just because it was... it's a thing that I like, and so I'm willing to give, a lot of leeway to something that I want to like, and then it was just no, You can't have it. No. Like, okay. Well, never mind. I watch your videos on 2x speed. I edit my videos on 2x speed a lot of the time to try and kind of speed the process up. So I'm used to hearing myself at 2x speed as well. Rapiers are not especially light. Their main focus is reach. Well, yes, exactly. And so they're luckily not really a weapon that is focused on the cut. It's more the thrust. It's pointy rather than slashy. You can slash with a rapier if you are short and kind of weak. I don't necessarily recommend it. You get very sore wrists very quickly. Are you part of a HEMA club? Not at the moment, though I hear there is one locally to me, but I found out about it like a month before lockdown. And so I was like, oh yeah, I can go to that. Like after I am no longer working a full-time job and I'm, and doing YouTube things and, parenting and all that stuff. Yes, then I can do it. And then lockdown happened and obviously they haven't done anything for basically a year. But sports clubs are coming back, so maybe later. Where are we? Are Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone using rapiers and Robin Hood? It's possible. I mean, they... I don't think I've seen it and looked at the swords closely enough to comment, I'm afraid. Sorry. Right. Try watching your videos at half speed. You sound like you just downed 3 large whiskies. Like, yeah. How do you feel about knives being used as an aesthetic? Well, I feel like in real life, that's a terrible idea, if only because, like, carrying a knife on you in the UK is generally considered to be, bad and illegal. But do you think you could survive in the wilderness for, like, a week? No. Is dual-wielding swords a thing that makes sense? Maybe. I mean, it's a bit like, having done it in a choreographed way, and we... the choreography used a lot of stuff from the Degrassi manual, because they were like, yeah, we're going to give this some more historical flavor rather than doing the sort of 2 swords, we just use 2 swords or we use one at a time kind of thing. We're going to try and use them both together. It can be, but you have to be very good at it. It's a bit like the Darth Maul, I have a double-ended lightsaber thing. It's like, you haven't cut your own legs off, so clearly you're someone to be, taken seriously. Anyway, get vaccinated. I would love to. I am... Hold on, how old am I? I am 34 years old, do not look after any vulnerable people, and do not have any underlying medical conditions, which would mean that I would be more at risk. So I'm basically last in the queue for vaccinations when it comes to the adult population. But that is okay. I am happy that other people can get vaccinated, and I will, as soon as I am invited to. I do, however, have a stinking cold. Like an actual cold, which I also haven't had in a year. Which is really weird. And I've taken 3 COVID lateral flow tests in the last week because I was doing the course. And every time I got a new symptom, I was like, do I have it? No, I still don't. It's like, no, Jill, you just have a cold. And it feels bad, but you just have a cold, so you're fine. Just, don't breathe on anyone. Are there plans for a review of the court jesters fight scene? Yes, but that's it's on the long list. I own the DVD, and I've seen it. So, it's on the long list. You have inspired my dead DVD character. Excellent. I eat apples with a knife. Oh, you rock. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Always appreciated. Is it... Wait. Okay, I feel like that's the other end of a conversation. Have you seen the shield sword that Shadowversity made? I have not. I think I saw the thumbnail. But I haven't watched the video. Popping in for a second. Okay. Hi, Zoe. If you could wield the comically huge weapons from media, would you? Maybe. I feel like they'd be a bit unwieldy in most circumstances. Like, just having super strength isn't necessarily enough, you know, to do that. I feel like it's not really gonna... I feel like you'd have trouble with momentum, even if you were very strong, and just like the time taken to move it places might be better with something that isn't quite so huge. But I don't know. I've never tried to wield a comically large weapon. The best I get is, you know, rapier or longsword, which admittedly is quite a big thing, but you get 2 hands, so the 2 hands helps a lot. No, I'm late. You're not that late. Like, we're sort of halfway through kind of late, but, you know, you can always go back. It's cool. Case of rapiers or case of dagger? Definitely rapiers. When are you going to pick up the Zweihander? Well, I do have a friend who has one, so, but he lives in, like, Bradford, so. How did you end up YouTubing? Long story. We'll get into it in a couple of weeks' time, because it is my 10th anniversary of having, the day I put up my first video, which got cross-posted to YouTube, I guess, was, I think, the 25th of April, 2011? So, 10 years on the internet making videos, so I'm doing a video for that. How ridiculous would a 2-handed rapier be? Well, if you have a 2-handed rapier, it's not really a rapier anymore, because if they're... like, if rapiers are specialized for the thrust, and you have a 2-handed thing, then you... like, 2-handed thrusting is kind of not the best way to use it. Like, if you have the maneuverability of being able to, like, flick it about with both your hands, then surely you'd want a cutting and thrusting weapon. I mean, you know, I guess. What did you think of The Legend of Korra? I have never got past the end of the first season, because I got to the end of the first season, and then I was like, great, and then I got distracted by something else for, like, several years, and then by the time I came back to it, I was like, I don't remember anything that happened, and so I'd have to watch the whole of the first season again, and I don't really know if I want to put in that kind of time commitment, so, nah. 2011 couldn't be 10 years ago. I know! It's so strange. 2-handed rapier would be an S-stock. There we go. Rapiers or butter knives? Depends on what you're doing, really. I tend to find a butter knife much more useful in my everyday life. I'm gonna be honest there. Anyone here who's been following since the Sursa Marsa days, I would be interested to know that, because that is, statistically speaking, that is less than 3% of you. I'm gonna go with that. Like, yeah. Let's call it 5% or under. So, like, 1 out of every 20. Have you seen the 90s Ninja Turtles movie? If so, review, please. Thank you for the super chat. No, I have not seen the 90s Ninja Turtles movie. Is that the one with Megan Fox in it? Is Megan Fox in a Ninja Turtles movie, or am I just really confused? I'd love to see a video on the final fight from Rob Roy. I also have the DVD of that. That's also on the long list with the court jester. The thing is, right, that I would love to make a video on the court jester or a video on Rob Roy. But if I want to, like, get paid, then, you know, it is better to make videos about Star Wars. I mean, I can make videos about Star Wars and about Rob Roy, but you have to balance kind of the things which lots of people will want to watch with the things that you're really interested in and will only appeal to a smaller section of your audience, but they will really enjoy them, and so will you. Do you have a favourite or least favourite weapon from movie, TV, or games? I don't know. I'll think about that. 2-handed thrusting sword. Just use a spear. Yes. To be fair, last March was about 5 years ago. Yeah. Yep. Do you have a job other than YouTube and parent? Is sword fighting literally your job? Sword fighting, well, sort of. No, YouTuber and parent are now both are now the total of my jobs. I used to have a regular job in admin, but I left that in April of last year. To be fair, I told them that I was leaving in February and said I'm going to leave at the beginning of April, and they said, okay, great, no problem. And then March happened, and I was like, well, this is either going to be a really good or a really bad time to start exclusively working from home. We'll see how that goes. Worked out okay, as it turned out, so we're all good. Vulcan Lirpa or Klingon Batleth. I don't know what the Vulcan one looks like, but I feel like Batleths would I would cut my own head off with it or something. They do look cool though. I came on board after the videos about zombies run. That's fair, and also a while ago if you watched She-Ra. No, I have not. But yes, to answer your question, Sarah, sword fighting is now kind of my job, or at least pretending to sword fight is a tax-deductible part of my job, because it is like work-related. So there you go. I just saw that community tab thing and have no clue who you are. Well, welcome. This is kind of a weird way of introducing what we do around here, but you know, you should try the channel. We have lots of things. Maybe people can tell Nicholas which video he should start with. Why the name Sursum Ursa? Because Sursum means up or lift up in Latin, and Ursa means bear. So, bear up. And now you know. What do you think about John? I haven't seen John Wick. I really need to see it. It is on my list. Mixed Star Wars. Megan Fox is in the more recent Ninja Turtles movies. Okay, there we go. I am not horribly confused. It's all good. Who is best pony? Like My Little Pony? The purple one. The purple nerdy one. Twilight thingy. Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle. There we go. Can you tell that I don't really watch My Little Pony? I've watched like 5 episodes of My Little Pony, and that was probably back when I lived in Coventry, which was some time ago. But anyway, there you go. The purple one. Are you a sellsword? Do you also practice HEMA? No, I have tried HEMA. It was very fun, but I'm hoping that I get to go along to the HEMA Club when they actually open it again. Found you through the Pirates video. That's a good place to start. Okay, or the Princess Bride. Works for me. Where did you find trashing superhero action heels? Yeah, like, you know, when you just so I find this happens with a lot of people who do YouTube stuff. Like, they work really hard on making things which are very complicated and very tightly edited, and you have to add in a lot of stuff. And then you make a video ranting about shoes and it gets 600,000 views. Like, well, I'm pleased, but what just happened? Bill the Pony. Bill the Pony. Religious opinion. I do, in fact, have opinions on religion. I am Christian, Anglican specifically, but, you know, Chill Bear Up has lived all over Europe. That's not really true. Like, I've lived in Germany and Northern Ireland and various different parts of England. So, I mean, I don't think that really counts as all over Europe. You lived in Coventry. Yes, I did. Lived a lot of places. Coventry was one of the places I stayed the longest, actually, because I went to the University of Warwick, which is in Coventry, not Warwick for the uninitiated. Why? Just because. Just because. Thoughts on Pullman's most recent Tolkien bashing? He seems salty. I have no idea what that refers to, but I mean, I seem to recall him ranting about C.S. Lewis and talking about a specific incident in the Screwtape Letters, which he really disliked, which never happens at any point in the Screwtape Letters. So, I don't know. I mean, I quite liked the his Dark Materials trilogy. Not enough to, like, not like reread a lot of times enough, but I read it and enjoyed it, so, you know. Do you speak different languages? No, not really. Like, a little bit of German, but as it turns out, if you don't use it, you forget it quite quickly. And a little bit of Spanish, but even less, because I haven't actually studied it since, you know, school. So mostly English. Rapier versus side sword. Either, honestly. Stardust. Stardust is also on the long list, just because somebody told me that was their favourite fight, like the one between Septimus, the one I was going to say, the guy who looks like Severus Snape, Septimus and Tristan. Spider-Verse or Avatar The Last Airbender? Always Avatar The Last Airbender. Always. Not that Spider-Verse is bad, just I really love Avatar. I think my North American Christian Guild is keeping me from reading his dark materials. Honestly, he's not missing much. Nice. Hello, Ethan. Yes, thank you. It is my... This is my office. It's lovely. Ethan, by the way, it was the person who is in all of those, both of those pictures on the community page. And also, he's not married to me. Because several people asked. So I thought I should clear that up. Anyway. Pickle or cucumber? Neither, but cucumbers are less bad. Do you name your swords? No, I do not. Thoughts on stage combat with guns? Tricky to do. Better. I prefer, honestly, using sound effects rather than actually firing blanks. Just because I feel like that's safer, and also because blanks are insanely loud, and I hate that. Like, I don't even like the sound of balloons bursting. Like, I don't like loud noises, like sudden loud noises very much, so, you know. This is out of nowhere. This live stream caught me off guard. Haha, welcome. Yeah. Atlas series or Atlas movie. See, now you're just being silly. The Avatar movie is an insult to cinema. It's definitely a time. It's yeah, the Avatar movie is interesting. You see in it kind of flashes of what it could have been, and I don't think it could ever have been as good as the series, or at least if it were going to be as good as the series, it would be good in a completely different way. But it was so kind of systematically bad in lots of ways that it just kind of, okay, well, here we are, waving our hands around in a non-specific way. How did you get into acting and then swordplay? Well, acting, like, I've always been in drama, like, clubs and things since school. I also liked swords. Like, I was big into Star Wars when I was a kid. Who wasn't big into Star Wars when they were a kid? Just different kinds of Star Wars. I was big into original trilogy Star Wars when I was a kid. The prequels didn't come out till I was a teenager. And so I really liked the whole lightsaber fighting thing. And then when I went to university, I did sport fencing for a little while. I had my first fencing lesson in 12 years. What day is it? Saturday? On Thursday. And realized that I may have had a slightly patchy and not very comprehensive fencing education, which is probably fair. Like, I didn't do it for very long before, like, the chronic fatigue meant that I had to stop doing it. But yes. The Avatar film is an exercise in making every wrong decision. Yeah, no, it's very true. Notice my previous question. No, because then I'd have to scroll up. Just put the question in again, and hopefully I'll see that one. Did you watch the Netflix adoption Death Note? No, I didn't. I think the biggest crime of a bad adaptation of a beloved text. Have you ever thought of reenacting? No, I used to have a housemate back in the day when I was studying engineering. I lived in a house of engineers during my third year, and one of my friends was a civil engineer who was big into fencing, which is how I ended up fencing. I was like, That sounds like fun. I want to do that too. He was also a medieval reenactor, and like he used to fix bits of his armor on the living room floor, including when my mum came over. And so for years afterwards, he was like that nice boy who, you know, was fixing his armor when I came. Do you have chronic fatigue? I do. It's like it's less bad than it was, and mine was never awful. But there were periods where I was sleeping like 16 hours a day, which was when I was at university, which was not fun. It's not. It's quite hard to learn when you're really, really tired all the time. Much better now. Are there uncivil engineers? Many, but you know. Just dropping my address. There is no movie of Basing Say. What kind of engineer? Oh, I did, technically speaking, I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and a master's degree in engineering, like, just engineering, because I got to my 4th year and they were like, so, if you want to do the mechanical engineering masters, then hope you like fluid mechanics. And I was like, I flippin' hate fluid mechanics. Or fluid dynamics, no, I'm just going to take a bunch of these different engineering courses and I'll just have an engineering degree, thanks. That was also roughly the point where I decided I didn't really want to be an engineer. I really enjoyed the degree, just didn't want to do it for a living. What skill would you want to learn next? Fencing. Like, fencing is the next thing on my list. I wanted to take, an unarmed martial art, but they are a bit tricky to find. But I've found there are definitely fencing clubs near me, so that's good. And then possibly we'll figure out how to do a martial art later, because you just can't learn martial arts via Zoom. I went to a couple of like Zoom classes and I went, this is not working very well, because I can't, the top of your head is cut off and your feet are cut off, so I can't see like which direction your feet are facing. I don't know where your weight's meant to be. I don't know what, everything's two-dimensional. This is not a useful way to learn. Did you check if you have obstructive sleep apnea? No. But, like these days I just get 10 hours of sleep and I'm good, so. I just saw the notification. Welcome! Which country are you from? Northern Ireland. Would you recommend visiting? Not right now. Apparently it's kind of on fire. Yeah, I called my mother the other day and went, so I hear that there's sort of, like, people are setting buses on fire. And she said, yeah, it's like the 70s again. So that's a bit annoying, but, all of my relations are fine as far as I know. Nobody has, WhatsApp to say that they're not. Why the rapier over something like a longsword or something along those lines? Can it really be useful outside a competition setting? Frankly, thank you for the super chat, I have no idea. I learn it for stage combat because it's, it's interesting and fun. I've done longsword for stage combat as well, and I really like that because you get to use 2 hands. I really like getting to use 2 hands. My least favourite thing that I've ever done is arming sword, because the sword is nearly as heavy, but you only get to use 1 hand. And that's just, it was not a fun time. I needed a wrist brace for a couple of days afterwards. Yuck. Wait, I can't learn fighting for a screen. My hours of practicing superhero moves is wasted. She's a Ravenclaw. That is probably not true. Like, I have a self-conception of being more of a, like, basically my self-conception is Hermione but ginger, Like, I'm probably clever enough to know not to do the stupid thing, but then I do it anyway, so there we go. I don't think anyone's died yet. The Easter holidays are nearly over. Be grand. See, I have a strong suspicion that Judith is from Northern Ireland, because I don't think anyone's died yet, and they're nearly back to school, and it'll be grand is exactly the kind of that's pretty much exactly what my mother said. See, I just wondered if Judith is like actually my mother masquerading as someone else, but I don't think Mum has a YouTube account or knows how to like use it, so I don't think that level of subterfuge is going to be happening. Anyway, Ever after fight scenes, how competent does Danielle look? Oh, that's a good one, actually. I haven't watched that in ages. Um, uh, I love Hufflepuffs. I don't think I'm quite nice enough to be a Hufflepuff. I'm gonna be honest. Clearly a Gryffindor. Well, you know, canonically speaking, Gryffindors do like swords a lot, so, like, there's that. Favorite Marvel movie? Tricky. Because I mean, I like a lot of them, but most of them don't, like, come under my favorites list. I really love Thor Ragnarok, like, unusually so. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I really like it, and it's the one that I thought of, so we're gonna go for that. Hufflepuffs aren't nice, but they are excellent finders. I'm 62 and I can, your mother could too. Could is not the same as will, though. Like, could is not the same as will. That being said, she is probably watching right now. Even if she can't type, even if she doesn't know how to work the live chat, she probably is watching. Oh, hey, no Hufflepuff in this chat. Exactly, no hating Hufflepuffs. Hufflepuffs are wonderful. Fire a brown bee's musket. I don't know what that is, but that does sound like fun, just because it's got a cool name. Have you ever been to a Discworld convention? No. Check out the Duelists. I think they watched the Duelists as part of the Case of Rapier's course. Or was it Scaramouche? I don't remember. Anyway, just so you know, I'm going to have to go soon because I have D&D. I should point out, I'm not actually the DM of this particular D&D group. I have not been the DM for years and years, but they did give me some excellent ideas for videos. Bless them. So I'm gonna go in like 3 minutes and do that thing. I'm 25, so probably not your mom. See, you can usually tell. There aren't, like, Northern Ireland is a very small country, so statistically speaking, not a lot of my subscribers are from Northern Ireland, but you can usually tell. Not just because they use the word grand. What age do you plan to teach sword fighting to your kid? I am not going to teach her, but we do have, like, the stunt lightsabers, which she likes trying to hit me with, so kind of already, I guess. I see Jill knows the best hobby. D&D has exploded the chat. Yes, it's true. Wow. What is your D&D class? I am well, technically, the character class is like 5 levels of rogue and 3 levels of warlock. But her personality is not very roguish or warlockish at all. She's basically a posh librarian who is very confused, but also good at dodging things. How do you have time to play D&D and parent? With difficulty. We play like once every 2 weeks, and because we play via Discord, it means that if you're like, oh, my child requires something, you can just be like, okay. Can either mute yourself and then go and deal with it, or you can say, I need 2 minutes because something is happening. Are there any other known Northern Irish YouTubers? I'm sure there are a few. Like, I couldn't even name you, like, the big English YouTubers, of whom I'm sure there are more. Well, is Zoella British? I feel like Zoella is a big YouTuber who is British. Not sure. Anyway, I know this because my hairdresser used to live in Brighton, which is apparently where lots of famous British YouTubers live. So there you go. Allegedly children sleep. That's true, not during the day though. Well, unless they're very little. Best way to practically implement swords into a sci-fi setting? No idea. Do you... Jill, you should stream D&D. That would be probably a terrible idea. Like, I feel like D&D, you have to have a campaign that is set up to be enjoyable to an audience. Like, there are things you need to do to make that nice for other people, as opposed to just enjoyable for the people who are playing, if you see what I mean. Thank you for the super chat, Cyron Baggins. That is a great... Pyro Puncher is a YouTuber from Northern Ireland. There we go. I think a posh librarian who's good at dodging things would be good subterfuge. Nobody's going to expect a fancy lady with the books to be sneaking around. You're Evie from The Mummy. Yes, that is exactly who I am. When my friend was like, so, character concept, I was like, okay, I want to be Evie from The Mummy. How do we make it happen? No worries. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I am going to go and, well, hopefully by the time I get there, the group will not have, you know, decided to fight a dragon or something like that. Or if they have decided to fight a dragon, that they haven't all died yet. So I'm going to say, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever time of day it is for you. If it's the middle of the night, you should probably go to bed. Just a suggestion. Just, you know, throwing that out there. Have a lovely day. And I will see you all soon. Next video will be up on the 15th of April. So, and it's Wonder Woman 1984, if you're interested. So, see you soon.